welcome back to Stand Up for the Week. Are you ready for your last act? Here with all the news from Middle England, please welcome Simon Evans.
Good evening. How the devil are you? Well? Splendid. We don't like change in Middle England. That's one of our main characteristics. We don't like change. And something that I have observed happening in the last week, which is a change which I find very unwelcome, it's a new introduction of an innovation from America called Black Friday. To be honest, Friday doesn't need change for a start. Friday is one of the few days of the week which is doing all right by itself, thank you very much. Friday is a good one. We have a tradition in this country, it's called Poets' Day. On Friday, piss off early, tomorrow's Saturday. That's all you need to know. And Dress Down Friday, in which men are expected to go to work on a Friday, not in their suit, but in some sort of smart, casual attire. Do they honestly think that men wear suits to work as a punishment? We wear suits because we like it. We like to be limited in our choices. The last thing any man wants to have to think about before he gets into work in the morning is how to express himself through clothing. We don't like it. I want to be clear, for those of you who don't know exactly, let me clear, it's not a black thing. This is not a black, it's not like Black History Month, which has been now condensed into a single day for those who felt that the month was dragging on a little bit. In fact, it couldn't be less like Black History Month. Black History Month, as I'm sure you're aware, is a difficult and at times disturbing but ultimately uplifting tale of how once oppressed people asserted their dignity through pride and sacrifice, whereas Black Friday is the exact opposite. It's how a once free and noble race of people happily traded in their dignity and were willing to become drooling cattle stampeding towards the abattoir of their own dignity in order to get some cut-price electrical goods. It's a disgraceful development. It is essentially the January sales coming in its pants a month before Christmas has even got its top off. That's all it is. They try and dress it up as something new. It is not. It's just badly timed. It's a sale. It's a pre-Christmas sale. Why is it significant in America? You have to understand Thanksgiving in order to understand Black Friday, which we don't have, of course. Thanksgiving, which is a dubious display of sentimental, saccharine, absolute... Basically, the fattest nation on earth give their thanks to God for the plenty they have received by stuffing their fat fucking faces for an entire fucking Thursday. Gorging on turkey and pumpkin pie and pouring syrup on meat. The shops open at midnight on Thanksgiving Day so that they have no pause for breath, and this leads to the most disgraceful behaviour you've seen on the streets since the sack of Rome. It is honestly, people have literally died in the stampedes to receive sales goods in Black Friday. It's horrible. They have guns being waved around in order to deter queue jumpers. And this is what we want to import here. Listen, I am under no illusion, all right? The British people are perfectly capable of behaving disgracefully in public. But we usually know what's worth fighting for, don't we? It's a spilled pint and a looked-at girlfriend. Those are the two things. Essentially, though, Black Friday is an attempt to convince us all that if you're going to avoid disaster this Christmas, you need to have a bigger television. This is the kind of mentality, even if you end up watching it through black eyes that you sustained attempting to secure its purchase. This is the kind of mentality we have now. Here you are, kids, it cost me 700 quid and a night in the cells, but nobody will be watching the EastEnders Christmas row in higher definition than we will this year. Things are not necessarily better just because they're bigger. Certainly not gifts, I can tell you that. I bought my wife a pair of knickers for Christmas last year that were just a couple of sizes too big, and she went absolutely mental. And she didn't like the larger size bathroom scales either, despite the fact that they had a clever feature which updated Facebook every time you got on them. My real belief is that Black Friday is a bad thing because it wants you to get involved in the physical melee of Christmas shopping, and there is no need. We have online shopping now. It is a far more civilized way. Sit yourself down in your pants, in the warm, pour yourself a decent measure of a good shopping scotch, and do all your Christmas shopping online. It's a perfectly British way of dealing with things. For exactly the same reason that online pornography is a much more British way of dealing with things. It's more convenient, you have more choices available, you don't have to make eye contact, and nobody needs to know what your personal preferences are. Unless, of course, your wife has set up some sort of Facebook update program in order to get revenge over the whole Scales incident. Folks, you've been an absolute delight. Take care, thank you very much. Cheers, good night.
Simon Evans. That's all from this week's Stand Up for the Week. You've been a great crowd.